This is Scott the Fix-It Guy. Today we're dealing with an LG dryer that won't heat. I have removed the back vent tube by taking out a Phillips head screw. And I'm looking inside now and I see a resettable high limit switch. So I'm going to unplug it first or turn off the breaker. I'm going to reach in and I'm going to see if I can press in on a little black reset button to see if that will get the dryer heating again. So sometimes here's the little button that you have to press right where the red arrow points. But if the dryer gets too hot, it'll trip this high limit and it'll turn off the heater. So you have to just go in there and press the button. If it clicks, then you know you've solved the problem. If it doesn't click, then it may be something else. So this one didn't click. So I'm going to use my multi-tester now. I set it for resistance. I'm going to put the probes on those two little wire connectors on that high limit. I have to kind of do it by feel because it's hard to see in there. But I'm going to listen to see if I hear the beep from the continuity tester. And I did hear a beep, so I know that it does have good continuity. So now I set my meter for volts, and I'm going to put the two probes on the white connector that goes to the igniter, and then when I turn on the dryer I'll look to see if I have voltage. So it turns out there was voltage, and that means, and the igniter never started glowing, so that means that it's time for a new igniter. So I'm just going to put this vent tube back in and look in there so I can kind of see where it clicks back in. And then I'll put the Phillips head screw in to hold it in position. And I got to put a new igniter in, so I have to remove the top panel next, and then I have to remove the front panel. So there's 3 screws here on the back that I'll remove on the top panel, and then I'll be able to slide that off. If the machine is stacked, you can always go up on a step stool to get you up high enough to do this part of it. So I'll slide the lid back by a few inches, and then I can pull it up off of the dryer. And the reason I took that off is so I can take off a few screws on the control panel, because I got to loosen that up so that I can remove the front panel. And that's also that I can get to the igniter. I know the igniter is having trouble because I saw that there's 120 volts going to the igniter, but it wasn't glowing, so my suspicion is it's broken. So I'm pulling the control panel up, wiggling it off after I remove the 2 screws. And I'm just going to let it hang off to the side. You can remove the connectors to it if you want, but it's okay to let it hang down. And then I'm going to remove 4 screws here, that Phillips head screws that hold on the top of the front panel. There are a couple of screws located underneath the door I have to remove also. So there's one here, about 45 degrees, and then one over on the right side also. With those screws off, you can then take the front panel off by pulling the front. I got to remove these 2, and then we're going to pull the front panel up slightly and then out towards you from the top. The bottom part will kind of hinge out, but you want to start from the top. So we've got all the screws that hold in the front panel. I'm going to reach in and just lift it a little bit, pull it toward me. Use a little standard head screwdriver to help pry it out. Here comes the front panel, and then it has little clips on the bottom. You can just lift up, it'll come right out of those clips. Oh, I just took off the door switch connector too. It just comes right off, just wiggle it off. There's the front panel. And then I have to remove one more part called the bulkhead that has 4 screws holding it on 4 different corners. I'm going to remove the little moisture sensor connector here. Just press down on the clip and pull back. Then I'll remove these 4 screws in each corner that are holding on the bulkhead. And this is just so it's a little bit easier to get to the igniter. There's just one Phillips head screw holding in the igniter assembly, but it's a little bit hard to get to. So we're just trying to make it a bit easier. It's kind of rare that the igniters go out on the LG dryer. It's more often that no heat comes from the reset button needing to be pressed, but in this case the reset button was okay, and we did show that we had voltage going to the igniter but no glow, so that points to the igniter having a break in it and not working anymore. So we just took off the bulkhead. And now I'm going to undo the wire connector that goes to the igniter. That's the one where I put my probes in and did the test earlier. So now I'm going to take a Phillips head screw. I'm using a little ratchet so it makes it easier to get in there to get to the screw. Just one little Phillips head screw there holding it on. And just go lefty-loosey a few times. And I'm just going to use just my fingers to spin out the final part of the screw. I'm going to lift up on the igniter assembly, wiggle it out. There we go. And then the installation is just the reverse of what we just did. Just looking at the igniter, I can see where the little crack is. So thanks so much for watching, and please subscribe when you get a chance.